Hi, this is Jeff White with Life and Living Now and Versatile Fighting Arts. I want to talk a little bit about just settling the mind. When we sit with meditation, whether we're doing sitting meditation, standing meditation, moving meditation with Qigong, there's always that issue of the wandering mind. We're sitting, we're in our focus, and all of a sudden the mind suddenly just drifts away. Sometimes we see it happening, we see a thought that comes up, we get attached to that thought, and off we go. Other times we're sitting in meditation, and all of a sudden it snuck in somehow. We're not quite sure how that happened, and yet there it is, and now we're running down that rabbit hole of thoughts, instead of being concentrating and focusing on the object of our focus. For me, typically it's going to be third eye or crown chakra. So how do we deal with that? If we're in moving meditation and Qigong, sometimes we're sensing this resistance in our mind, this tension in the mind or in body, and so that creates a thought, and then we follow that thought, and next thing, then all of a sudden, we're running down those rabbit holes again. So part of the idea is that we need to remember during times like this that thoughts will wander. In fact, one of the reasons we're actually engaging in meditation is to be able to discipline that mind, to allow to see that we are the thinker of the thoughts, that we're not the thoughts themselves, and that we actually originate those thoughts, and therefore we can change those thoughts, that we are not those thoughts. And it's a very important discrimination that we see with that, is that if we think that, okay, this is how I feel, and this is how things are, and this is who I am, that's not true. We are the thinker of those thoughts. We are the feeling of those emotions and those thoughts. But those emotions and those thoughts are actually not us. We are a separate entity. And that it sounds reasonable when we think about it. Practical application is a little bit different. But it's important that when you're sitting in meditation and we're focusing on in one-pointed concentration, and typically with me, instead of focusing on the breath, which is how I teach most people to start, but eventually I say, well, then get to you're focusing on consciousness itself, the third eye or crown chakra. And then we're just kind of watching those, and the mind will begin to wander. And sometimes I notice that if I'm sitting in meditation, I'll feel a resistance to something. Feel a resistance to a feeling, or there's some tension in my mind, or I'll feel tension in my body. And the key is just going to be aware of that. Don't try and dissect it and judge it and analyze it. It's not time for that. That will take you down the rabbit hole. Acknowledge it, let it go. Go back to whatever your point of focus was. Say for me, I just remind myself it's important not to fret. It's not important not to get tense. Don't disparage yourself for the activities that are happening in mind. Instead, remind yourself to go deeper, and then let it go and go back to focusing on the third eye or whatever object that you chose. Often in my meditation, and it may change according to what I feel the impulse to do, but for many years, it simply was go deeper. And all of a sudden, I would find my mind starting to run down a little bit of this, monkey mind, and it'd start to flit around, and I would just go, let it go deeper. And that was my call to myself, to go deeper, to let these thoughts go deeper into the center, to the calmness that was in my center. What I'm after is that original face. I want the mind before the thoughts. We put our mind into that gap between the thoughts, and we want to be able to focus on that gap. Because in that stillness, in that empty space, is your original face. That is you without any conditioned thoughts polluting that experience. So we want to be able to feel that experience. We want to be able to sense that and be that. And so a lot of times what I tell people is don't strive. simply be. When you feel that resistance, and you'll feel resistance either in tension in your body, or once your body's relaxed, a lot of times you'll feel it in your mind. And you'll find a certain amount of resistance to an idea, resistance to the practice, resistance to if I'm sensing chakras and building that energy, maybe I'll feel a dead spot or a sense, and I'll just put my mind there. And I just let it just rest my awareness there. I don't try and judge the event or the feeling. I don't try and assign any value to it. I'm simply aware, and then I let it go. And we do that a lot, say, with our 6 gates meditation, where we focus on expanding our awareness of each of our senses. And we take each sensory input, whether it's sight, sound, taste, hearing, feeling, and then we add consciousness to it for the 6. We relax our mind. And we want to expand our awareness in each of these modalities. And so a lot of times when I'm doing this or in this practice, say with visual, the eyes are open, I have a soft gaze, and I'm looking at expanding around the periphery of my sight and just taking in everything that I can see. And I'm just being aware, and I'm just simply noticing. I'm not judging, I'm not describing, I'm not analyzing, I'm simply being aware. But sometimes you'll find as you're beginning to expand your sense of awareness that you get some resistance, or I'll see something flurry and then I want to start analyzing it. And if you disparage yourself and recriminate yourself, then you're going to create this negative situation in your head. Instead, just let it go. Just remind yourself, go deeper. Just be aware. And all I'm doing with this 6 gates meditation is trying to expand my periphery and expand my awareness of my hearing. We do the same thing with hearing and with the smell and with the tongue and with taste and the body feeling inside and outside, and then with consciousness itself to expand. But as we begin to do that, then if we sense some resistance, we just let it go. Just let it go, but continue on with what you're doing. Your intent stays the same, but your resistance to the moment is what you let go. Your resistance or your need to judge, to analyze, we relax that and we let that go. And now we're able to sit. And what you'll find with practice is you're able to sit in emptiness. And when you initially hear this, it begins to sound, what is this emptiness? And, why do I just want to sit there without any thoughts in my head? And until you experience that and experience what that emptiness, that expansiveness that you feel with that emptiness, that sense of complete contentment and wholeness, and that now you have this, and oftentimes I've gone into deep meditation, you feel this expansiveness where you are literally, that you are one with everything, and there is no doubt ever in your head. So there's nothing boring about it, but you have to be able to get there and then relax into that moment and just be. A lot of times we end up trying to strive. I'm trying to listen really hard. I'm trying to hear what I can hear instead of relaxing and just beginning to shift your awareness and feel inside the body. When I'm scanning and I feel tension, a lot of times, I may carry stress, like in most people, down one side of my trapped muscles and underneath my right scapula. It'll tend to seize up. And I will begin just to put my mind there if I sense that I've allowed stress to build up. And I'll just put my mind in that area under my scapula if it tends to be tightened up. And I'll feel it begin to release. I don't try and analyze it. And I just let it go. And I go, there's peace and contentment. But you want to get to this place where your mind is between those thoughts and it's resting there. And you are just being. So when we start to strive, we don't want to do that. We want to arrive. So there's a nice little mantra: don't strive, arrive. Relax the mind, relax the striving, settle into just being. Just be. Just be, and now explore that beingness without striving. Use your intention. And another very important point, is use your intention. So you still want to be active. You still want your spirit to be raised. You still want to be very engaged in what you're doing. We are not slugs and on a log. We are energy. We're vibrant, peaceful energy. So use that, but at the same time, be peaceful, be content. Feel that oneness with all the universe. Using the intention is different from striving for something. If I place my awareness on my ability to see, and then I relax and take in all that I can see, the more I relax and don't judge what I see or don't judge my progress, then I'm able to see more in time. I'm able to take in more. As I relax my mental picture of what I'm supposed to take in, and instead I just simply be. I simply expand my awareness and I take in that field of vision. Later, I'll also expand my ability for intuition. So breathe in deeply, focus on your breath, then let it go. And as you take these deep diaphragmatic breaths, then it engages your parasympathetic nervous system through the vagus nerve, and it calms you down. So breathe deeply, focus on your breath, let it go. Don't disparage yourself. Even if you think you should be doing better, don't worry about that. That's an indication that you're resisting the present moment. When you're judging your progress, you're resisting the present moment. Simply be in that moment. Wherever you are, be there. You will progress. It will grow. It may not seem like it, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, but all of a sudden in a week, 2 weeks, you'll notice a substantial difference because they build on each other. So look for areas, though, where you do find resistance. When you do note that resistance, note it, but then let it go. The resistance is a form of mental and physical tension. So you'll find that the resistance may show up, in areas where you didn't think you were resisting. This is progress, is how I look at it. As you may have dealt with this tension on one level, but now you've grown, and now you're revisiting this very same issue again, but from a different vantage point, a different level. That's growth. That's part of the work that you're doing on yourself. And it's very important, so feel good with that. But just kind of know this is the practice. The practice is settling your mind. The practice is engaging your intention. The practice is learning to simply be, to shut down, to discipline the mind, to harness the thoughts. Because our ego mind, our mind, is a tool for us to use. Our emotions are tools for us to use, tools to express in this world we live in, this manifest reality. But it is not us. We are spirit. We have a soul, and we live in a body. So it's the spirit that we want to get back to and be able to look through the eyes of spirit, feel through the eyes of spirit, using our mind as a tool for in this reality, but have the mistaken idea that we are those thoughts. So, and that's just simply life. When you sense these areas, let it go. Forgive yourself if necessary. Return to the awareness where you placed your intent. Give yourself grace. Now, this will train your intentions. It will also train your patience. It will train your resolve. It will train your discipline, your focus, your sensitivity to stress and tension in your mind and body. So all of a sudden, you'll find after weeks or months of doing this, I feel where tension begins to arise in my mind or is in my body, whereas before I would not have noticed that. And I noticed that early on in my meditation practice, that the deeper I went into meditation, the quicker I could sense when there was some resistance to an idea, resistance to a thought, resistance in my body, tension in my mind or body, and I could then deal with that appropriately in that time. So it will also benefit, and this is important, having your sense of locus of control. And this idea of having internal locus of control is a very important point in psychology and the feeling of a healthy self-concept. And that's that you are in control of your life to the extent that you can, that you are not, that you help determine from your intentions and your centeredness what happens in your life, that you're not just simply a pinball that's being bounced around by the events that happen to you. So very, very important. So, when you're doing that, so your ability to think and more importantly to perceive with greater clarity will come out from through your meditation. Your ability to generate energy will increase your ability to be calm and centered. So it's a small price to pay. As you harness your mind and as you enhance your ability to control your thoughts, you see that you're the thinker of your thoughts, which is a topic I come back to a lot because it's one of the prime insights to carry you further down the road. When you understand that you are the thinker of your thoughts, you're not the thoughts themselves, it means you can control what you think and how you respond and how you can enrich your inner life through the renewing of your mind and renewing of your emotions. So lest you think that we want to still our minds through like a blob on earth, as I mentioned, we want to train our minds. We want to harness our thoughts. We want to combine our mind and our spirit and use our thoughts like a team of horses to explore and expand our awareness. In fact, in my studies, I came across a phrase called the horse mind, whereas monkey mind was scattered. Horse mind was like a team of horses, all heading in the same direction, harnessed by the captain, you, the thinker of the thoughts, and using your intention. It's a very powerful, powerful illustration. So once they're under control, and due to our meditation insight, now we can use our intention, our mind, to explore our consciousness. As we calm the mind, we delve deep within to ascertain our purpose and how we can help others, and then how we can use that team of horses to create. Remember, all creation is twofold. It all comes from a place of being first and then doing. So we need to be, then do. It's the same thing when we're looking at our goals, that we want to look and see first, who am I? We want to be first and see what comes out of us. What do we want to do with our insights? What do we want to do to help others? We are all connected one to each other. We are all the waves of an ocean, and the ocean is the collective consciousness. And so we're tied into that. And we want to live our lives to serve others for the benefit of humanity. And so we look inside first, and we look inside deeply to see, okay, where are our passions? Where is our calling? Where are our gifts? Where are my leadings? Where my intuition wants to lead? And then we can begin to do. So as you're sitting in your meditation and thoughts come up, let them go. If you sense tension in your thoughts, you sense resistance to an idea, let it go. If you sense tension in your mind, whether you're in, especially you'll find this in standing meditation. I find this a lot in what I'm doing. Either I'm standing in from Qigong to Santu Chi, or I'm sitting in just in a standing meditation, standing pole meditation. I'll notice, because we're keeping just enough tension in or tone in our bodies to keep our frame, that we let everything else go. And it's a progress, and we begin to feel the body let go as the mind lets go. And we begin to see that so much of what the tension that we feel on our body, the resistance, all comes from up here. And so we're learning to give ourselves grace. We're learning how to relax that. We're learning how to not be controlled by our thoughts, but now we're learning to harness and then control our thoughts. So as you spend time in meditation, do not get frustrated with the monkey mind. Move past it. Realize that's why you're sitting there, is to be able to control the monkey mind and harness the tool that you have, that is your mind and your emotions, and use that energy now more proactively. So enjoy your meditations, enjoy the Qigong. Always feel free to write me with any questions, LifeandLivingNow@gmail. If you like this, please like the videos, subscribe, as we're trying to build our audience, and hopefully you'll find these things useful. My entire aim is to help improve the quality of people's lives, and I find that is done most beneficially through the meditation and also Qigong, whether it's sitting or standing meditation, and the moving meditations of Qigong, to help you become centered and understand who you are at your very core. So thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.